giggling.
Down their businesses and buying back the block. And let's open our own business so we'll have some place to shop. Start investing in ourselves is what we do, cause they do not. So we shutting down their businesses and buying back the block. Yeah, we shutting down their businesses and buying back the block. Every hustler that could hustle, start investing in your spot. Don't you see these vacant houses and you see these vacant lots? So we shutting down their businesses and buying back the block. Yeah, we buying back the block. My brothers buying back the block. Sisters buying back the block, my sisters buying back the block. Don't you see these vacant houses and you see these vacant lots? So we shutting down their businesses and buying back the block. Yeah, we buying back the block, my OGs buying back the block. Youngins buying back the block, my youngins buying back the block. Start investing in yourselves is what we do, cause they do not. So we shutting down their businesses and buying back the block.
If we gon' get this cash and chop, this bullshit's got to stop. All this his beef, her beef, this and that, man, let's just get some guap. Dr. Squat ain't got the digi, really, let's invest the stock. I suggest we cash some checks, it's really just a building block. See my circles talking cheese and bread and dough like pizza box. So let's get some cheese and bread and dough for our own pizza shop. And we never needin' your fast food when auntie making plates. Cause that's fish and fries, you get 2 sides of drink and slice of cake. The mechanic shop, the barber shop, the hair and nail salon. On the corner store or grocery store, let's get some season farm. Cause when summertime, when school let out, we started up a julep house. Then we passed it to the kids to show them what this bit is about. Used to grind the tubers out the Buick with the music clout. Now he with the wife and kids to show you what them Jews about. 10%, $100,000 is just stacks. So all you need is $10,000 to buy a house for 100 racks. Wait, all you need is $10,000 to buy a house for 100 racks? Yup, all you need is $10,000. Think of that with your income tax.
Shutting down their businesses and buying back the block. And let's open our own business so we'll have some place to shop. Start investing in ourselves is what we do, cause they do not. So we shutting down their businesses and buying back the block. Yeah, we shutting down their businesses and buying back the block. Every hustler that could hustle, start investing in your spot. Don't you see these vacant houses and you see these vacant lots? So we shutting down their businesses and buying back the block.
Yeah, if you getting money, stop buying back the neighborhood. Buy up these houses, these empty lots. Stop buying buildings, opening businesses. Stop buying land, property. You know what I'm saying? If you want to multiply your choppy, I don't care how you getting your bread. Shout out to my peoples up at Be Healthy. You know what I mean?
Why we ain't got no black grocery stores?
DJ Nani.
Things giggling.
Down their businesses and buying back the block. And let's open our own business so we'll have some place to shop. Start investing in ourselves is what we do, cause they do not. So we shutting down their businesses and buying back the block. Yeah, we shutting down their businesses and buying back the block. Every hustler that could hustle, start investing in your spot. Don't you see these vacant houses and you see these vacant lots? So we shutting down their businesses and buying back the block. Yeah, we buying back the block. My brothers buying back the block. Sisters buying back the block, my sisters buying back the block. Don't you see these vacant houses and you see these vacant lots? So we shutting down their businesses and buying back the block. Yeah, we buying back the block, my OGs buying back the block. Youngins buying back the block, my youngins buying back the block. Start investing in yourselves is what we do, cause they do not. So we shutting down their businesses and buying back the block.
If we gon' get this cash and chop, this bullshit's got to stop. All this his beef, her beef, this and that, man, let's just get some guap. Dr. Squat ain't got the digi, really, let's invest the stock. I suggest we cash some checks, it's really just a building block. See my circles talking cheese and bread and dough like pizza box. So let's get some cheese and bread and dough for our own pizza shop. And we never needin' your fast food when auntie making plates. Cause that's fish and fries, you get 2 sides of drink and slice of cake. From mechanic shop to barber shop to hair and nail salon. On the corner store or grocery store, let's get some season farm. Cause when summertime, when school let out, we started up a julep house. Then we passed it to the kids to show them what this bit is about. Used to grind the tubers out the Buick with the music clout. Now he with the wife and kids to show you what them Jews about. 10%, $100,000 is just stacks. So all you need is $10,000 to buy a house for 100 racks. Wait, all you need is $10,000 to buy a house for 100 racks? Yup, all you need is $10,000. Think of that with your income tax.
Shutting down their businesses and buying back the block. And let's open our own business so we'll have some place to shop. Start investing in ourselves, that's what we do, cause they do not. So we shutting down their businesses and buying back the block. Yeah, we shutting down their businesses and buying back the block. Every hustler that could hustle, start investing in your spot. Don't you see these vacant houses and you see these vacant lots? So we shutting down their businesses and buying back the block.
Yeah, if you getting money, stop buying back the neighborhood. Buy up these houses, these empty lots. Stop buying buildings, opening businesses. Stop buying land, property. You know what I'm saying? If you want to multiply your choppy, I don't care how you getting your bread. Shout out to my peoples up at Be Healthy. You know what I mean?
Why we ain't got no black grocery stores?
DJ Nani Non.
Hello and welcome to the Shaman's View. I'm Dr. Alberto Villoldo and I am a shaman. And first I want to just really get clear on what this being a shaman is all about, because it's not any kind of honorary title. It's not something you earn. It's not an acknowledgement of your light or your luminosity. It's simply a commitment to be in service to humanity, to be in service to the earth first, and then to humanity. And this is a calling that we all have today. I want to invite you to awaken your inner shaman. And you do that through the gift of ego medicine. And the gift of the ego is to lead you to your destiny. It's not to bring you your destiny, but to lead you to your destiny. And to do that, you have to put on the wings of eagles. I remember being with my mentor in the Andes many years ago, and he said to me, Alberto, do you want to make love like a chicken, or do you want to make love like an eagle? And I said, well, like an eagle, of course. He said, well, then you have to leave the chicken coop. I know you get the regular feedings, you get the fence that keeps you protected from the wolf and from the foxes, but you're inside the chicken coop, and maybe you can be one of the top chickens, but you're still in the coop. So if you want to make love like an eagle, you've got to break free, get out of the coop. But you cannot just become a pigeon, because then you're going to be sitting on a wire somewhere and shitting on automobiles. And that's not where you want. You don't want to be waiting to be fed in a park, have some old lady come and give you some crumbs. You want to fly like an eagle. And that means having the courage to go to places that few really dare to go to. So I want to speak to you a little bit about eagle medicine and share a story with you that comes from India. And it's a story of Shiva and Shakti. So Shakti is saying to Shiva, come on, Shiva, let's leave the Himalayan mountaintops and let's go to our villages where people are chanting your name and praying to you. And Shiva said, you know, these humans, they're such a problem. There's so much trouble. Let's stay up here, honey. Let's not go down there among them. And Shakti says, no, come on, Shiva. And she calls on her flying tiger. They get on her tiger and they begin to make their way down the Himalayas. And there's a very poor family, a man and a woman and a child, and they have no food, they have no money, they're hungry. But the man is praying and he's going, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. And Shakti says, Shiva, listen, this man is saying your prayer. Let's go and grant him a gift. Let's grant him a boon. And Shiva says, these humans, they're a bunch of trouble. Shakti insists. And they land in their tiger, and Shiva comes up to the man, and the man looks at the divine, the divinity, this God that is before him, and he is speechless. And Shiva says, I've heard your prayers, and I've come to grant you a gift, to grant you a boon. But the man cannot talk. And the wife says, yes, yes, we want a cart full of bread. We want a cart full of bread. And there it is, a cartload of bread right in front of them. And the man comes out of his stupor and he turns to his wife and he says, you fool, don't you realize that this bread is going to spoil in a couple of days? You're such a pig. I want you to turn her into a pig. And there it is, she's a pig. And the little boy begins to cry and to say, I want my mommy back. And there she is. And Shiva and Shakti leave, and Shiva turns to her and says, see, I told you that these humans are very difficult to please. They don't know what they want. They don't, even when they are in the presence of the divine, they don't even know what to ask for. They get on the magical flying tiger, and they're flying lower into the Himalayas, and you can hear the prayer of an old man, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. And Shakti turns to Shiva and says, listen to this old man. He has so much love and devotion in his prayer. Let's go grant him a boon. And Shiva says, not again. And Shakti says, yes, listen to how devoted he is. So they land in the tiger and they cross this bridge. And on the other side of the bridge by the river is an old man just dressed very, very poor, has no clothing on, just a cloth wrapped around his body. And he's going, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. And he's blind. So Shiva comes close to him, and the blind man can sense the presence of the God. But he continues chanting, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. And Shiva says to him, I have heard your prayers, my son, and I've come to grant you a boon. I've come to grant you a gift. And the man keeps praying, and he says to Shiva, yes, thank you, my Lord. I would like to live to be able to see my great grandchildren feeding from a silver platter. And Shiva says, yes. And the old man's gift is granted. And what did he ask for? He asked, I would like to see. He asked for his vision, for his sight. My great-grandchildren, he asked for love and for children and grandchildren and long life, to be feeding from a silver platter, that they lack nothing, that they have abundance. So here was a great boon put to good use. Now, most of us, when we're offered a gift from heaven, we go for the cartload of bread. And we don't go for the great gift, for accepting that gift that is being offered to us, especially during challenging times like we've been living in the last 20 years, but especially today. Because today we're living in the grip of global fate. Fate is about cause and effect. It's about causality, karma, they call it in India, in the East. It's about paying for the debts of your ancestors, for the way that we have treated the earth, that we have mistreated nature, that we have looked at forest as lumber feet and natural resources for humans to use. We're paying back those debts now. This is a time that fate has been let loose. And the problem is that fate is fatal. So we want to switch over from fate to destiny. And this is what ego medicine, what the spirit of the ego takes us to. You find the same motif in Christianity and in every great tradition. In Christianity is the Holy Spirit, it's this dove of fire that hasn't revealed itself yet because it is still in the time to come. For the shamans, when you summon the spirit of the ego will lead you to your destiny. Ego will not bring you your destiny. So we cannot be waiting at home for destiny to knock on our door. We have to step into the wings of ego and allow spirit to lead us to a time of destiny, to a place of destiny, not to a destination. A destination is what you end up with when you start envisioning and co-creating the kind of life that you want. When you start working with the secret of manifestation and creating bounty and beauty and wealth and for yourself at the expense of the earth or of others, you're creating more karma. Destiny is free of fate. It's not been preordained for us. It hasn't been preordained by our genetics that say that we're going to die a certain way, or by our family history that say that we're going to grow old, lonely, or happy, or die with dementia. Or it's not been preordained for us by our society or by our gender or by our skin color. Destiny is one that you craft yourself. When the shamans in the Andes do a medicine offering for Mother Earth or for the mountains or for spirit, they always put at the very center of the offering of the despacho 2 pieces of foil, a piece of gold foil and a piece of silver foil. One of is known as the Cori Libro, the golden book, and the other one, the Colque Libro, the silver book. And the Lord says that one of these books comes already written, and the other one is blank. And that we must begin to write our own story if we want to find our own destiny. Otherwise, we're going to be spending our lives editing the other book, the one that's already written. And granted, it needs some editing, it needs some cleaning up, but we can't spend our lives doing that. Right now, we're in the grip of fate and the planet. We're paying for the sins of our ancestors, to use a more biblical terminology. The bill has come. The buy now, pay later, live now, postpone the debt till later to future generations is here today. We're in the grip of fate. Look, for example, look at Ebola. Ebola was contained in a small forest in Africa, in 10 acres, in a small forest that contained the Ebola virus. As soon as that forest was cut down for lumber, the Ebola virus spread, looking for a new host and a new home. Today, we have upset the ecosystem so much that the earth is in major correction through climate change, through the incredible temperatures that we've been getting in the American Southwest, in Australia, the fires that are raging, through the storms that are coming, through the tremendous imbalance. The earth has an immune system, and it has nothing against us as humans. It's just that it's coming back into balance. And any kind of immune response involves protecting the host. And the host is the mother, it's Pachamama. And we are the parasite. involves driving the parasite out. So today we have to break free from that grip of fate because we are in a deadly course collectively. But we can take a quantum leap individually, each and every one of us, to craft a destiny for ourselves, to write, to begin writing that golden book, that other book that we have authorship over, that is not scripted by our genetics, that is not going to turn us into a statistic, that's going to turn us into an outlier in the bell curve. And that's going to take us not only to a destination, but to truly the greatest expression of what it is to be human. To do that, of course, we have to embody eagle medicine. This is a tail feather from a condor. It's a stabilizer feather, and I use it this to cut cords, to cut energetic cords that a client or a loved one may have to their family history and their ancestry. And I also use it to remind me that I have to put on my big wings, not the little wings that will keep me looking good in the chicken coop, or the smaller wings that will let me hang out with the pigeons on the power lines, but the eagle wings. And the eagle wings means that we have to take risks, that we have to take chances. Eagle will not bring us our destiny. She will lead us to our destiny. And this is such an exquisite gift that we have available to us today, because these gifts only come in times of great global crisis or personal crisis. I remember speaking with a client of mine, a patient of mine, not too long ago, who said to me, Alberto, my cancer saved my life. My cancer saved my life. Today, we have the opportunity to take this malady that humanity is suffering with and have it save our lives and lead us to a really high destiny, where we craft our journey through this world with elegance, with beauty, with grace, with power, with meaning, with purpose, with intentionality, and in service. And where we tear down that veil between the visible world and the invisible world, where we can begin to dance on top of the equal sign of Einstein's famous equation, E equals mc squared. Energy is equal to matter times the speed of light. That equal sign between the visible and the invisible world, the world of form and the world of formlessness, so that we can dream a new world into being in the invisible world and have it manifest in the visible world. But we cannot dream a new world into being for ourselves personally. Number one here is not the solution. For the shaman, the way that it works is that you dream the entire world into being, and then it cascades down to the level of your community, of your neighborhood, of your home, of your family, and to you. And everything is bestowed upon you. I invite you to awaken the inner shaman, to listen to that call from the spirit of the eagle. However it is that you experienced it in your life, listen to that call and say yes to it. And take a chance. Embark on that great journey. Eagle is not going to come knocking at your door, but will lead you to your destiny. And that means that you have to say yes to the journey and take the first step. And like the hummingbird, without having enough wings or not designed for flight or not knowing exactly where you're going, but this is the time. And the time has never been better, and it's never been worse. Such a critical time we're living in. So I was speaking to a relative of mine who's saying, well, as soon as this is over, we need to get together with a big family gathering. I said, as soon as what is over? This is not going to be over. This is going to be new. It's going to be different, but not over. And we can take part in what that new and that different is. But to do that, we respond to the call. And then you'll find that you're going to begin to grow a new body. that ages differently and heals differently and dies differently and perhaps never dies. Thank you for joining me in the Shaman's View. Blessings. Put on those eagle wings. Take the leap. Shaman's View. I'm Alberto Villoldo, and today I have the Shaman's Oracle. That was one of the cards that I drew for today's talk from the perspective of the invisible world. So, for millennia, shamans have been engaged in not only foretelling the future, these were the great prophets of old, but being able to select desirable futures for the health of one of their patients, or one of their children, or for the health of the village, or for the destiny of their people. We're all concerned about the health and the well-being of our loved ones, and we try to prepare for that financially and by sending them to the good schools as best that we can, and by educating the children well. But the shamans were concerned with the destiny lines that we bring with us from former lifetimes, and that are really guided and steered by many of the events that happened to us in early life. So, to participate in the process of selecting destiny, they consulted the oracle. And they understood that if you don't select destiny, that you fall back onto the grip of fate. And fate is fatal, it's deadly, it's been preordained, it's been pre-selected for us by our genetics, or by the drama that runs in our family, or by the experiences that we had in early childhood, or even when we were inside our mother's womb, the conversations that we overheard, or if she felt that she could not trust her partner, her man, to be there for her, we were born with these belief structures that we cannot trust men, or we cannot trust other people. So how do we break out of that grip of fate that has been selected for us? And that in the West, at least in the health care systems in the West, is what we call statistics, that say that 29% of the population will die from this, and 32% from that, and that if you get to be 85 years old, and that you will have a 50% risk of having diagnosable Alzheimer's. Wow, we don't want to be in that bell curve. And we think, well, this is not going to happen to me. I'm going to take the precautions that I need to take. I'm going to eat well and drink clean water. But above and beyond that, what the shaman wanted to do was to consult destiny and help steer destiny. And to do that, they used the oracle. And there are many different oracles. You find that in some cultures, there's a stone oracle. In Africa, they have the cowrie shells. In the bones are used in Europe. In the northern parts of Europe, you have the Viking ruins. But in the Americas, they worked with the divine forces, that they could see operating around them, and consulted them to understand how they were operating inside your life, how wind and earth and water and the different deities were working within you, and how they were preordaining your future, how your future had been selected for you already, and you were simply filling in the blanks. So the card that I pulled up in preparation for our class was this one, the smoky mirror. The smoky mirror actually was a god in Mesoamerica, the smoky mirror god. We have him here in our deck, in the mystical shaman deck, portrayed as a Buddha-like being, because it's really more contemporary. But the smoky mirror god was known as Tezcatlipoca. Tezcatlipoca would come to you and hold the mirror to your face and say, look at you. Look at what you have become. Look at what you've turned into. Look at the real you, not that carefully sculpted persona that we keep by the door and we put on in the morning. But look at you. And how much congruence is there between who you say you are and who you really are? That was the smoky mirror god. And the smoky mirror was designed to wake you up. Go, wow, my God, look at me. Look at what I've turned into. How do I correct? How do I return to my true nature? How do I laugh and love and become innocent again? So I want to draw another card for us from the Mystical Shaman's Oracle. This is a deck that my wife Marcella and I, together with Colette Baron Reed, published about 1.5 years ago, and that works with the archetypes of the Americas, not with the Greek gods or the Roman gods, which is what the tarot of Marseille and of Europe works with, but with the Americans, with the forces of the indigenous people. So let me consult it, and I'm going to do a very simple one card draw to see what it is that we get. And there are many, many different kinds of readings that you can do, but in this case, we're only going to select one card to see what topic we should speak about, to see what topic we should cover when we're talking about the oracle. All right, and here is the card of thunder. We spoke about how the forces of nature are influencing us, and the shaman's archetypes are before we turn these forces into human-like creatures, before we personify them, before we anthropomorphize them, before we turn God into a man and with a white beard in the heavens, when he was simply the forces of the cosmos. So the thunder is the force of renewal, is the force that strikes from the heavens and shakes the earth to wake us up and to say, hey, come to your senses. Come, look at you. Come. We've already discovered that we need to change. The first card told us that we needed to reveal our authentic face. And now we have the card of thunder that's saying, come out of the closet, show who you are. Don't be afraid. Don't be timid. Don't do it with a soft, gentle breeze. Come with the power of thunder. So let's take a different read, and I'm going to show you how to do a 3-card read. In a 3-card read, I'm going to show you how to do a 3-card read that takes basically into account the past, the present, and the future. So we'll select one card, and now we'll pick another one. And now let's go back and let's pick about this one here. All right, and let's turn them over. So the first one is the giveaway. And the next one is the water, the force of water, of cleansing and healing and renewal. And the third is the coyote, the trickster. So beginning with, come back here. Come on. Beginning with the giveaway. The giveaway is a traditional Native American festival or celebration where you offered, you gave, you shared the spoils of the hunt, you share your produce, because wealth in traditional societies is measured by how much you give away, not how much you hoard or how much you have in the bank or how much you own, but how much you share. So this is the very first card, and this is indicating the influences from the past. What is it that's at play from the past that we need to attend to, but that we have perhaps come to closure with, but that is influencing still in the moment? We're giving away, and perhaps it might mean that you're giving away too much at this time. But we'll see in the context of the present what it says. And this is the card that speaks about the present. So we came from the giveaway, from sharing deeply, to the card of water. And water is about cleansing, about healing. That now is the time to regain our integrity in this bubble of water, of translucence, of healing, of deep, deep cleansing. The waters that cleanse the soul, not only the ones that cleanse the body. And each one of the cards, of course, we've written up a paragraph describing them and what message they have for each one of us right now. So the first card, the influences from the past, the present, which is the card of water, of cleansing, purification, and is also the feminine, because the feminine arises from the waters. So this is a bubble of water that is emerging, that is about to be bestowed upon us and cleanses and purifies. It's a time of cleansing. It's not a time of giving. It's not a time of taking. It's not a time of sharing what you know or what you don't know, but it's a time to go deep into your cleansing, into your cleansing process. And let's see what the third card is. And the third one is the coyote. I love this card. This is great medicine. The coyote is the trickster. This is what lies ahead. This is what lies ahead. This is the coyote comes to reveal that which is hidden. And part of what I see in this card is a mandate to reveal that which is hidden, that nobody else sees. Everybody is concerned right now about what's going to happen tomorrow, including ourselves. What's going to happen in our lives the day after tomorrow, or next month, or next year? The trickster is saying, hey, don't look at it the same way everybody else is looking at it. Look at what's out there and think something different about it. Feel something different about it. Let that cleansing effect of the waters wash away all of your doubt, all of your preoccupation, all of your concern, so that you can literally trick yourself into discovering a new perspective of the possible. This is a medicine coyote. Notice how she has the emblem of the sun hanging from one ear. So this card is bringing us a message of The trickster is the one that shows you the same way that the mirror was held up to you by the smoky mirror god. The coyote is holding you the light mirror and say, look at the beauty, look at what nobody else is seeing, look at the opportunity, look at the possibility, look at your life within a much bigger context. That this is what the prophecies of all of the indigenous peoples have been talking about, a time of tremendous upheaval and tremendous opportunity. And the coyote is coming to tell us that you're going to find exactly what you're looking for. So be sure that you look in a very high way so that you're not finding the ordinary, the usual, the commonplace, more of the same. So these are the archetypes that we work with, that the shamans work with. They have not been turned into the gods and goddesses. This is a process that occurs when religion happens. When you have religions appearing, they're taking the forces of nature and they're putting human faces on them. So the thunder becomes one deity, the lightning becomes another one, the wind, the god of the wind, the whisper of the wind. And you find this even in when you go back to the Western Bible, the Abrahamic religions, which are the three principal religions today practiced in much of the world. You find that the very first commandment that the Western God has, the very first commandment is, thou shalt not put any other gods before me. It doesn't say don't have any other gods. It says that I am the big God. Do not put any other gods before me. And what happens with the Greeks and the Romans is that they begin to personify the gods. First in the with this whole pantheon of beings that you have in Greece, and then with Christianity, with all of the Madonnas and all of the saints, Judaism still remains pretty pure in that sense, following that commandment of not creating any graven images of God. But our nature as humans is to give faces so that we can relate to these forces that are so mysterious and so frightening and terrifying at times. I remember as a child saying the prayer that my grandmother taught me, which was that a prayer to God, if I shall die before I wake, I pray to the Lord my soul to take. And then I started wondering, well, why do I need to pray to the Lord to take my soul? Who else could be taking my soul? What soul trafficking mafia might be out there that might want to steal a child's soul? Got very worried about that for a long time. So this is human nature. Human nature, the ancient human brain, the Neanderthal limbic brain is by nature superstitious and needs to put faces so that we can interact, protect ourselves from, or try to bribe or seduce or cajole one of these divine faces, forces to intervene in our behalf. In Latin America and South America, when you go to a church, you find that Christ is in the main altar, but on the sides, you have all of the saints. And the saints, for some reason, are more accessible. They're not far away like God is, God the Father is very, very far away, but the saint is right there. And you see that people pin to the robes of the saints, they pin little wishes that they want. They want health for their baby. They want to be able to buy a car. They want to not lose their home or their job. And they ask for divine intervention in their behalf. So what the shamans did was to intervene themselves directly. You intervene directly. You don't seek an intermediary, a legal representative that can advocate your cause in front of the divine. And you do that by pulling these images to see what the forces are and how you can serve them. How can I serve Coyote? How can I be in service to Coyote? This is the trickster. Everybody is terrified of Coyote because it's going to come and show you your most deeply hidden parts of yourself and say, hey, look at you. Look what's here. And then if you refuse to look at it, it's going to show it to everybody else around you. How can you be in service to this force that obviously is stalking me and perhaps you as well, because we pulled this card in the context of our meeting today? How can we be of service to this force which is showing us what is hidden? How do we accept that invitation to begin to explore what is hidden from view? What is so deeply buried that perhaps we have even forgotten about it? What childhood wish or desire or longing we held so dear to our hearts that we've forgotten about, that perhaps we need to retrieve and to recover? So in consulting the Oracle, as medicine men and women, we want to dance with these forces and not be at the dance floor alone, trying to get out of an archetypal engagement that we didn't step into consciously. Because they're archetypal forces. Archetype, the word archetype was coined by Carl Jung, but it's using the same terminology of archaeology, of archaic. These are the ancient types and the ancient forces. The more familiar we become with them, the more that we can dance creatively with them. And now I'm going to ask for one card that we can take with us in these amazing times of opportunity that we're living in. So let's go back to the card deck. And this is our card, the taming of the wind. The taming of the wind. The wind is one of these great forces that blows us this way and blows us that way. And the taming of that force, that so that we can use it to propel us in the highest possible direction for our lives, to help us select the highest destiny, but also to give us the kind of propulsion to be a good tailwind so that it fills our sails and we have assistance in getting us to where it is that we wish to go. So I invite you to work with the Oracle. The Oracle is the putting into form those forces that medicine men and women have recognized forever as being the forces that inform and that create and that are nature. And they inform and create and shape our nature and our destiny. I invite you to learn the ways of the Oracle and become your own Oracle master. And be careful who reads your Oracle, because most frequently they're tracking along the highest energy lines. They're tracking along the probability and not the possibility, which might be very improbable, but accessible to you. Thank you very much for being with me in Shaman's View. I look forward to seeing you next Friday, where we're going to be going more in depth into the 4 great archetypes of the shaman.